Okay, everyone, I'm here to talk about using spreadsheets a little bit if that is how you want to do some of your experimental simulations. And I'm going to take you through how I did stuff on this particular one with the odd dart game. I know I had this probability model, and I knew I wanted to go and input a whole bunch of dice information. And so in order to make this table, I opened up a spreadsheet. The first thing I did is I knew I was going to have a bunch of trials. So I'm going to go trial, give it a title, and then I'm going to start at 1 and 2. And I have the pattern. And one of the things that I can notice then is if I click both these cells together, I can see a little square here. And as I go on top of that square, it changes to a little plus. And then I can drag that plus sign down and the pattern is established. And I can drag it down and I'll get all of these things together. That is a really great trick when you establish your pattern, then you drag it down. Okay, so next what I'm looking at is I had my different darts, right? I had my darts from the different regions. And so I want to make dart throw 1, dart 1, and dart 2. And how in the world am I going to make random darts for that? I want it to be randomly chosen 1, 2, 3, or 5. And so I went and I Googled random number generator. And when I do that, I get a bunch of choices here, and I particularly like this integer generator. And then I can do integers, and so I'm going to generate 100 integers, and I'm going to go only from 1 to 5. And I'm going to make one column. And I know I'm looking for like a 1, 2, 3, or a 5. So it's going to give me an extra 4, but I'm going to deal with that later. So let's go get the numbers. And magically it goes and it prints a list of 100 numbers here. Okay, I copy them and I paste it. Here is my dart throw number 1. There's all randomly generated. If I want to do dart throw number 2, I'm going to go back to it and just say get numbers. Get numbers, and it will make a new random list for me. And I just select the list and I copy it into it as such. And now these cells here I want to get rid of, so I'm just going to go and start to delete the 4s. Okay, and then I know my sums are going to be, so this will take a little bit of time, but I'm going to just go and delete a whole bunch of them. And okay, so you don't have to watch me do that, but that's what I'll do. I'm going to pause it, I'm going to delete a bunch and then reorganize. Okay, now you're back. You can see that I started to tidy some things up. If I want to tidy this up, I've deleted the 4. I select them all and watch that turn to a hand. See it turn to a hand? Once it does that, then I can drag around whatever's been selected. So I'm just going to go around. It takes a little bit of time, but it's not too bad. It's not hard. It's just a little finicky. And I go along here and I move everything up and so on. Oh, also include that one. Move the 1 and the 5. And so, all right, as we keep on going. And we're almost there. That should be sufficient. There we go. We're going to do 32 trial, 31 trial. Okay, so we do it. Then what I want to do is I want to find, in this game, I want to find the total. Okay, and anytime I want to do like some kind of math on this, I hit the equal sign. And what do I want to do? I want to add 5. So I click on the B2 plus C2. And you can see it's going to add B2 and C2, and it's going to add them together. If I hit enter, it makes 7. 5 plus 2 is 7. Here's the best part. If I go now to that cell and take that little black square, dark square, make the plus sign with my cursor, if I drag it down, it repeats the formula all the way to the bottom. So 5 plus 5 is 10, 2 and 1 is 3, and so on and so forth. And I can see all the different totals here. And I can move things over if I'd like. I can make the columns nicer. and more not so spread out. And then I'm concerned about making it odd, right? If I win or not, win or lose. Now, I could just go win, lose, 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 win, win, and so on. I could go all the way down. Sometimes it's faster just to do it by hand, but I can also do this if command. So if I go equal to if, and then I can see that, click on the if D2 the cell, if it is, this one's tricky because there's a whole bunch of different ones. If it equals a 3 or, comma, or, oh, how do I do this now? Hold on, let me pause, remember how to do it for multiple numbers. How to do this now. So if I just want to do if, I want to do just if, I just want to know where this one equals, let's say 7. Then I go comma 1, comma 0, which is the output. So this is if this cell is 7, it gives me 1. If it's not, it'll give me a 0. If I hit there, it should be a 1. So now if I drag this down, you see zeros and 1s. For every 7 is a 1. But I want a 3 to give me a 1, and a 5 to give me a 1, and a 3 to give me a 7, all those to give me 1. So I have to make it a more complicated formula. So I'm going to go back to here, and in here I'm going to go if or, oh, I might have to start this all over again. There we go. So I'm going to start all over again. If or, and you should get this logical operator, this cell D2 equals 3, comma, again I'll hit D2, oh, D2 equals 5, comma, or if D2 equals 7, if all those things, and the commas and the parentheses are really kind of finicky, you have to make sure you get them right, 1, comma, 0. So that should say if it's any of those numbers, give me a 1 or a 0. And so the 3s, and so this gives me all my wins and losses, and this will quite quickly do it. Now I can see what's won and loss. Okay, that's kind of a handy trick. Sometimes though, depending upon how complicated you want the total to be, it's just as easy just to do it by one at a time and just go 1, 0, 1, 0 as you're doing. Now, if I look over here now, the next column is cumulative wins. So again, I could just do it in my head, cumulative win, right? I know that that one's 1, and then it's going to be 1 because 1 plus 0 plus 0, okay? Or I could, once I have it started, my 1 win here, I could go to the second cell, and this is important, you have to have them set up as such. I could go equal to the cumulative win plus the next win, and that will give me a 1. And then I take this cell and I drag it down, and it'll start to add up all my columns. Okay, and so I've won 14 times. Every time I got a 1, it added 1 to it. So just to make sure, it was equal to, on the second cell here, the top cell cumulative win, which you have to do by yourself, plus this cell here. And then finally, it's the cumulative probability, cumulative probability. And that's just going to be taking this win divided by the trials. And that is a probability of 1. And again, I take my little corner, I drag it down, and I can see all my probabilities growing. It's a mess to look at all these decimals, so I'm going to go over here to decrease the decimals, and then increase it to maybe 2 should be sufficient, and I'll drag it over. And so now you can see what's happened to these probabilities. And then the last thing we're going to do is I'm going to select this whole column, and then I'm going to go to a graph, insert a chart. And when I insert this chart, my recommended one is already selected for me. Okay, I'm going to customize a little bit and give this a title. This was about the odd dart game, cumulative probability. Okay, and then I can insert it, and it can see what's happening here, and I can then talk about it. So, so there's how to work the spreadsheet. A couple other tips. You'll notice that I've hidden a bunch of the lines. It goes from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then to 96, 97. To hide things, what I can do is I can just select the rows I want to hide. And if I right-click on it, I can hide rows 7 to 15. What other kinds of things can I do? I can also come in here and I can, if color is important, I can color code some of these things. I can change my text color. If I want to go and make a nice chart, I can make a table so I can see the outlines. I can even go and make it the outside darker if I try and work on that. So there's different things we can do to make it more clear and better communication. And then I just copy and paste them into here. So setting this up is quite not so hard to do. It takes a little bit of practice, but ultimately you can just do it by hand. You don't have to do all the fancy tricks. So just do 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0 or whatever kind of thing. The biggest thing I think is handy is this random number generator. And you can do all kinds of scenarios. Like you could do, if you're looking for 36% chance or something like that, you can assign numbers to 1 to 100. And you can assign if it's less than 25 or more than 25. You can do different things with these random number generators that will simulate your probability. I hope that helps. Good luck with your project.